Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today I am really excited because we have the long overdue collaboration with Crypto Jebb. We're going to be talking about stuff that I rarely talk about because Jebb has a wealth of knowledge in technical analysis and in trading and watching the markets. So we're going to talk all about Bitcoin, altcoins, and all that stuff and give you an idea of where the markets might be going. So Jebb, thanks for being here, my friend.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm looking forward to it. Like you said, it's been
Yeah.
long overdue. We were supposed to do this last week, but I got
Yeah.
crazy busy. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. We're all busy as crazy busy as can be right now. But cool. So the first place I wanted to start, right, is I'd love to get your take on where we are right now, middle of August with Bitcoin, and what you think we're gonna see in the next, month or two. Like, where are we at?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So right now, Bitcoin is down 26% from all-time high. Ethereum's down about 22, 23%.
Hmm.
Cardano is down 8%, and Solana is above 16% above all-time high. So what we're seeing right now in the crypto market is as you go farther down the top 10, a lot of the smaller cap altcoins are actually rallying farther and faster than Bitcoin is. And this is really interesting because normally during bull markets and big rallies, you'll see that Bitcoin will lead the charge and the altcoins will follow. Or sometimes you'll see that Ethereum will lead the charge and Bitcoin and the altcoins will follow. What we're seeing right now is really interesting because Cardano, Solana, and multiple other cryptocurrencies are the ones leading the charge, and it's not Bitcoin or Ethereum. So it seems like the altcoins and the smaller cap altcoins, the medium cap altcoins, are the ones that are leading this charge. I think that actually makes a lot of sense because we've seen the market really prove itself over the last year or so. A lot of things being built on Cardano coming out in the next 6-12 months as it launches Alonzo and when we start to see smart contracts coming on. And so the smaller cap altcoins are actually leading Bitcoin right now. I think everything is going to be breaching all-time high in the next 2 months, though. But it might actually be the smaller caps that are pushing that this time.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So, I mean, one thing that I've been noticing more and more is this sort of like there's assets that have traditionally been very correlated that are starting to decouple and move very separate from one another. I mean, just the big two, right? The Ethereum and Bitcoin charts are kind of less correlated than they used to be. Have you noticed
Yep.
the same thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Ethereum has rallied a lot. And I know this is something you've talked about on your channel. It's rallied a
Mhm.
lot ever since EIP 1559 launched. A lot of people were thinking, okay, well, EIP 1559 is going to launch, London's going to happen, and everybody's going to say, okay, cool, that was awesome. Now we're going to sell and we're going to take our profits. The
Mhm.
exact opposite happened. EIP 1559 launched, the burn rate came in, and now Ethereum is doing very, very well. So I think
Yeah.
that's actually a really good sign is that we've seen these fundamental developments happen. And unlike what we saw when El Salvador adopted Bitcoin, Bitcoin continued to the downside. Ethereum didn't do that. Ethereum used this news and it started to rally a lot. A lot of people were thinking, okay, El Salvador's adopting Bitcoin. This will reverse the downtrend. Didn't happen. A lot of times we
Mhm.
see a fundamental development occur and the market says, whatever. It's cool, but I'm not interested. It's not exciting enough.
Yeah.
EIP 1559, that didn't happen. Instead, Ethereum took that and it ran with it. And now we're only sitting, I said earlier, 22%, 23%, 24 odd percent below all-time high. It's actually been doing very well. And I think that makes a lot of sense because with EIP 1559 coming out and Ethereum 2.0 being closer now, it means that a lot of the things that are built on Ethereum right now, like all the DEXs and NFTs and smart contracts, are going to actually be able to do what they set out to do and what they say they do on the 10 because the fees are going to go down and the consensus algorithm is going to get a lot more stable for that kind of development. Now, obviously, I'm not a blockchain developer. I know you know a lot more about all those things. That's really your specialty, not mine. But I
Yeah.
think that the fundamentals of Ethereum right now are driving it to the upside in a very big way. And I think they're going to continue doing that past all-time high.
Amazing. Is that what's pulling altcoins, do you think? Is it this renewed fervor around Ether and Ethereum and maybe also like the NFT craze that's also kind of pulling altcoins up?
No, I think it absolutely is. The analogy that I use for Ethereum is that Ethereum's like the interstate highway system.
Hmm.
Costs a lot to build and it's completely useless if you don't have a destination. Ethereum is not a useful project because of Ethereum and the Ethereum blockchain. Ethereum is a useful project because of all the things that can be built on top of Ethereum and all of the things
Right.
that it allows for you to do on top of Ethereum.
Hmm.
That's why it's worth $370 odd billion is because that interstate highway system connects you to certain things. It's infrastructure in the same way that Google is infrastructure. Every small business has a Google My Business page. We have a Google My Business page.
Yeah.
Google has value because it's infrastructure that you build on top of. Ethereum has value because it's infrastructure that you build on top of. And over the last year, we have seen a crazy amount of development going on top of Ethereum. Now we're going to start seeing the same thing happen on Cardano, Solana, and we're talking about NFTs. Solana just over the weekend sold, I think it was $6 million in NFTs in 8 minutes when the Degenerate Apes launched. The NFT craze, everybody thinks it's gone down. The NFT craze went nowhere. The hype in crypto went down and it's coming back.
Yeah, I think it's just getting started, the NFT side of things. And I also believe genuinely that this is sort of the next wave. Like there's going to be at least another wave of really intense buying across retail, and I think also institutional's not done either. What do you think about that?
I think the institutions are far from done. Yeah, no, absolutely. So we talked about this morning on our stream, the Walmart had a job posting. Now we've seen job postings out of Facebook and Amazon and Apple, and now we see one out of Walmart. Walmart's talking about how they want to have, they want this person to look for investment opportunities, be looking for partnerships. They want this person to be working on strategy and product. So, they haven't come out and said they're adopting Bitcoin and crypto. It's still speculation, the same way that what Amazon may or may not be doing is speculation. But the point is, we have multi-$100 billion, even $1 trillion organizations looking into, is Bitcoin something that can benefit my business? Walmart and Amazon, people don't realize this, are gigantic competitors. They both dominate the e-commerce space, and they're both worth hundreds of billions. Amazon worth trillions of dollars. They're big competitors. Both of them are looking into crypto. If one of them thinks they can get a 0.5% tactical advantage by adopting crypto in any way, shape, or form, you better bet your bottom dollar it's going to happen. The institutions are making a lot of money right now because they realize that there's a way that they can make more money by using crypto. Now, a lot of people talk about the whales in a negative light. They say the whales sell the market and crash it and screw whales, but at the same time, the whales want to make money, and many of these institutions, whether it's been admitted yet or not, a lot of them do own Bitcoin. Tesla might be getting back into Bitcoin in the near future. Elon Musk talked about how that is a possibility. These institutions want Bitcoin to do very well, and because they want Bitcoin to do very well, I think it is going to do very well. The amount of whale wallets that hold Bitcoin right now is astronomical, and I think we are about to see a big kickoff, like you just said. I don't think this bull market is anywhere near from over. I think we're going to over $100,000 on Bitcoin in the next 6 months. I could see Cardano going to $5 in the next 6 to 12 months. Ethereum could easily be $10 by the end. $10,000 by the end of next year. If it went to $10, I'd be in a bad shape.
I was gonna say, if it goes to 10, I'm deploying major capital.
I would buy so much Ethereum if it went to $10. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, but this is the thing that's interesting, and this is maybe one of the last topics we talk about here, because strategically, right? You think about this in terms of a next big run, if there is one, and we think there is. Strategically, if you're sitting there as an investor, big or small, you're thinking about how can I mitigate risk, which you should always be thinking about first before you think about being wealthy, right?
Amen.
But for Bitcoin, for example, it's about a 2x-ish, give or take, to 100K, which is the coveted 6-figure mark everybody's been talking about for what seems to be 18 months. For other altcoins, to get to the targets or to get to where people think it might be, you could be looking at 10, 20, many more multiples than that. So what is your take if you had to think about building a portfolio in terms of how you balance that to balance the high risk, high reward plays in altcoins and then the blue chips and the 2 to 3, 4x that you might get there?
It's a great question. That's a fantastic question. It's one I get a lot, actually. So I have a standard answer to it that I always give people.
Nice.
Number one, you have to evaluate what your risk tolerance is. That's why I said amen when you talked about risk, because risk is everybody wants to focus on the reward. Like, oh, what if SafeMoon 100x's? Well, what if it goes to zero and your $100,000 investment goes nowhere or somewhere, I suppose. It goes in the gutter. No one wants to talk about the risk. First of all, the very first thing you do before you invest or buy or trade anything is you got to evaluate what your risk tolerance is. It's hard to define risk tolerance, but I can explain it with an example. If you're 20 years old and you came into $100,000 because you hit the lottery, you have a very high risk tolerance. You're able to go and do something because you're living off of daddy's money, right? If you're 70 years old, you're on a fixed income, your house is paid off, but you know you got a retirement that'll last you 15 years. If you're in that situation, your risk tolerance is much lower. So you get what risk tolerance is. You have to evaluate that. How much risk are you willing to take? Do you have a wife and kids, or are you single? What does that risk look like emotionally? What kind of risk are you willing to take that you can handle without getting overly stressed out and worried? Number two, you got to figure out what your time horizon is. In the same way that if you're 20, I'm 20, I'm turning 21 in 2 weeks. If you are 20 years old, your time horizon might be 40, 50 years. If you're 70, your time horizon might not be 40, 50 years because you might not have 40, 50 years. These are things you have to think about. What's your risk tolerance? What's your time horizon? What I personally do, and I want to preface with this, what I do is not necessarily what you should do. I might be on step 100. You might be on step 50. That doesn't mean we need to do the exact same things. Portfolio management for someone who's been in crypto for a year looks a lot different for someone like me who's been here for 4 years and someone who's been here all 12. What I do is I keep over 50% of my portfolio in Bitcoin because I'm okay with a lower return but lower risk portfolio management because I've already made my money. I have the company running that's generating profits and revenues. We're generating cryptocurrency in revenue. So I don't need to get super risky. But if you're newer to crypto and you have a very high risk tolerance, but a very low time preference, then that might make you more interested in buying into a project that's very risky, but could 100x. That's why I don't diss people that invest in Dogecoin or SafeMoon or Sheeb. I diss the project because I think they're immoral, but I don't diss the people that are investing in them because there is opportunity there. What I would do is check your risk tolerance, check your time horizon. I personally keep over 50% of my portfolio in Bitcoin. That's not for everybody. How you go about that is going to depend on what projects you're ideologically aligned with, and then making sure that you're investing in things you believe in, being informed, and making sure that you're setting that up so that the less risky you are, the more Bitcoin you have, the more risky you're willing to be, perhaps the more of that Bitcoin you would put into other smaller cap projects.
Amazing. I think that's right on the money, and it's very similar to my approach to things. The one thing that I would add on to that I do routinely is I try and look at an investment that I make as if I'm a VC. I'm not a VC. I'm not that wealthy, I'm not that important, and maybe I'm not that smart. Everyone could evaluate that their own way.
I don't know about that last one. You're pretty smart, Hashoshi.
But the way that I look at it is I want to evaluate, does a project solve a problem? And if it's an actual problem that I see in the market that needs solving, then the next thing is I look at product market fit. How likely is it that people are going to adopt this thing and use this thing to solve that problem? Can it solve the problem? If the answer to those three questions are yes, I'm usually willing to make a play. How much of a play I make is really dependent, like you said, Jebb, on your risk profile. That's all I'll add. But I think that
it's fantastic.
If you're watching this and you're thinking to yourself, okay, I'm brand new to crypto, or I'm a veteran in crypto, like I'm trying to figure out what's going on in the market, where this is going to be. Remember, like we're two people, we've got two perspectives, maybe somewhat similar. But definitely go and look elsewhere. Learn a ton, as much as you can before you make financial decisions. And of course, remember that nothing you hear on YouTube or on Twitter or anywhere like that is financial advice. You got to be very diligent about this and protect yourself first. That's the key.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Jebb, I'm really appreciative of you taking the time to chat today. And what I would love to do is I would love to set up some time to do another chat here when things start to really heat up. I think it's always good to get a little motivational talk from Jebb,
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'd love to do that. Heck yeah. We're about to record over on my channel also, so make sure you go and check that out. We got new content for Hashoshi, but for everybody here on Hashoshi's channel, subscribe. He's awesome. I've complimented him multiple times on his thumbnails because they're gorgeous, by the way. Whoever does your graphic design, I don't know if you do it or someone else, it looks really good. You guys should subscribe for that reason alone.
Appreciate it. Yeah. And as always, folks, when you got a guest on the show, make sure you follow on Twitter. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Jebb's channel is amazing. I will, of course, have front loaded a graphic that says to subscribe to Jebb at the very beginning of the video. So make sure you've done that already before you sign off. Thank you so much to everyone who's watching. If you have questions, leave them in the comments. Have a fantastic week ahead. And until next time, cheers.